Are we going to talk before?
Wait, what are we talking about?
We're talking about life.
Oh, right. Yeah, you might want to leave some of that conversation offline.
For how, please?
Would you do me a favor?
No.
Okay, do me a favor anyway, please. Tap my face on the camera here.
Because you zoomed in?
No, not to zoom in, just to get it so the brightness is correct, because for whatever reason it's got me all super dark.
Okay. Did you guys see Sora?
What's Sora?
The latest crazy thing that will totally destroy elections.
I thought that Devin was the latest crazy thing that was going to destroy the world.
I forgot what was that one? It's a new one every week. What's what?
I thought it was Twitter. X.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I'll go grab a drink.
I'm an Elon fan, but that was probably the biggest fumble because I was listening to Mr. Who's the Boss, and he's like, few companies have made their product a verb. Like I'll Google it, you know, I'll tweet it, and then it's just like makes. I was like, that was a verb. I'm not gonna like X you. It's just like, I don't know.
I'll be interested to see if this X thing lasts.
Well, what's the alternative to Twitter? Because I hear that the Threads is not doing so hot.
Ashton.
Okay, so Mastodon. Okay, I was listening to MKBHD, and he's like, they were explaining Mastodon to him, and he's like, this does not sound like it's for everyone. Like. It's like, because it's like, yeah, you have to wait 48 hours to get accepted, and then it's like this, and it's like, it's basically just Reddit. It's not so much Twitter as it is just a Reddit, channel, like Discord. I don't know.
It's federated though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but that's the thing with Federation is I don't know if that's the best thing in the future, because it's every social media acts you kind of have to be a certain way on each social media. So blasting it to everything and forever seems like an NFT that you shouldn't do. I don't know. It sounds like Back to the Future where he faxes him and calls him and does that all I don't know if federated sounds like a good idea, but because it's seems like an easy way to get canceled or something.
What is it?
It seems easier to get
It does seem like you would want your draft messages to just live on your devices and not live on the internet. Because I think the problem with something like Mastodon, so good federation would be Gmail, Yahoo, etc.
Meaning, I can send an email even if I get canceled. Federated means...
Unless you get canceled by Google.
But the purpose... Okay, just to make sure I'm understanding correctly. The purpose of Federation is to say, once it exists, it can't be deleted, right?
No.
No, it's the interoperability.
Or interoperability between.
Yeah, so the fact
send
that
it
you send a
up.
message from Gmail to Yahoo Mail is federated using SMTP and all that
Right.
functionality there.
Saying we have these silos of social medias. Why is there not a protocol for... Okay.
The part that's weird about Mastodon is that there's this potential idea that this site may explicitly exclude certain other sites based on preferences.
Yeah.
So like if you want to go to like the social justice warrior site that doesn't include any, right-wing content, you can theoretically do that, assuming that
Right.
right-wing content is within certain servers.
Yeah, so but that's like saying, well, here at Gmail, we don't accept emails from Microsoft. We accept them from Yahoo and from Facebook, but not from
But they're not secure.
email's secure nowadays.
Are we streaming right now?
Yeah, we're streaming right now.
Oh.
I've got the timer on. I'll grab a drink and then we can keep shooting the breeze or we can get started.
Just good to know.
What protocol do emails usually use nowadays?
The what?
What protocol do emails usually use nowadays?
Like the same one that they did 40 years ago?
So it's SMTP between servers. But there's like 2 or 3 different flavors that are encrypted in different ways, and then there's a bunch of other stuff they layer on top of it, like domain keys for center validation, something like that.
But last I checked, if you send like a Gmail to a Hotmail or something, or a Hotmail to a Gmail, it is like not encrypted or something. Like that's still like a problem from what I last I saw.
I'm saying, and this is
That's what I was thinking about.
Gmail to Gmail, it's encrypted.
Well, there's
but
a trait of like all distributed systems like this. If you have an unencrypted version, and you want it to be seamlessly interoperable, there's no way to guarantee
There is no way.
that an email
Yeah.
you send is encrypted. It's sort of like the danger of recording a phone call. Like Utah is a one-party state, so theoretically you can record a phone call with someone else in Utah if only one party, yourself, consents to it. However, you don't know your call is not routed outside of Utah. And so technically, someone could say that some other state's laws apply because your call went through Colorado or something, just because that's the way the network happened to go.
the network, it goes straight through the NSA. Doesn't
Yeah.
Then
So whatever the NSA
A one-party state in the NSA is always a party.
Yes.
So where are they located?
Up there, yeah, see it through
I wonder what you would have to do in front of that cop for him to like pull out and be like, if you were about to shoot somebody, like that cop that's just hanging out at the thing. Yeah. Like I
This
wonder
is taking a weird turn.
I don't want to find out, but I always see that cop there. I'm like, he's not going to move for anything right now. There's nothing that's going to get him to move.
On the other hand, once I was going to walk across the street from where Slab and Aubergine are over here, and a cop was pulling someone over, and they stopped their car to roll down their window and say, if you cross this street, I will take you for jaywalking. And I was like, do I do it just to see if you actually will? I decided not to, because Lehigh cops, I feel like they're glad to give out tickets for all sorts of stupid stuff. That's the only time I've ever been threatened with a jaywalking ticket. Preemptively, even. So it was like, you can tell I was thinking about crossing the street.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I can tell you're about to commit a serious crime.
Yeah.
You look like you're about to rob a bank. I'm just letting you know. If you do that, I will have to arrest you.
Really, what I was wondering is, well, he's already pulled someone over. Is he going to come after me, or is he going to figure out how to do both at the same time, or is he going to get on the radio and suddenly there'll be cops swarming the parking lot? And
He's like, they were going 5.
We got a jaywalker. I need backup.
SWAT team
She
comes
was
out.
driving her family home from a family event in a minivan, and she was going 5 over, and I gotta take
Send in
her
the
this
helicopter.
Crazy.
I mean, isn't there's not a whole lot that goes on.
All right. So in other news,
Sorry for that's all on stream. That's good. That's good.
it's,
All of
I'll
that
trim it out. I'll trim it out. I just wanted to, so in case anybody wanted to join in, that they've got a few minutes to join in. So that was the main thing there. And I just gotta double check on the chat, and then maybe I'll get the Jitsi up.
So what presentation framework are you using today?
It's called MD Slides. So it's actually normally I put in the slides where the slide thing is, but
Yeah.
All right, I'm just making sure that we got my room name is unsafe.
It's unsafe.
I understand the room name is unsafe. Join it. Waiting for moderator. Okay, I gotta log in. I'm gonna sign in with Facebook. Okay, cool. I don't want to install a Chrome extension for something I'm not even using.
Are you sure?
Start sharing the screen. I'll make sure I'm sharing screen number 2. And then let's make sure that we got the chat up. Where'd the chat go? Okay, there's the chat. Okay, cool. So I think everything's going and ready to go. So I'll go ahead and get us started then. Okay. Yeah, that's the audio clap for you. All right. So first things first. Welcome out everybody to Utah Zig. I'm glad to see a few smiling, happy faces here. It's okay we don't have like a big crowd tonight. It's fine. I did not do anywhere near level of preparation on this like yours. I spent a couple hours on it, and it's not even going to look like I spent that because it's like 1 hour per minute of presentation is like, you know, if you're really good at presenting and efficient.
Yeah.
So, and this is going to last longer than 4 minutes, but yeah, I did not spend 100 hours on this. Anyway, thanks to Vivint for hosting us and providing the food. And thanks to all of you for being here. And we will go ahead and just kick it off. So, intro to Zig, and more particularly, this is an intro to Zig for, you know, the world that already has Go and Rust. And if you wanted to see this presentation, it will be hosted here. I'm hosting it locally right now because there's probably some things I'll fix or change or whatever. But I'll get that up there. So, yeah. And I'm AJ. Y'all in the room know me. If you want my tech tweets, that's at _BeyondCode, and then the Root Company and Cool AJ6, because I've got too much branding going on. So we got 3 different things you got to be aware of if you want to follow me on that. I'm a dangerous wrong thinker. I'm an equal opportunity offender and a technophobic technologist extraordinaire. So I think that Zig may be a turnaround point in history where we might start going back in the right direction and maybe avoid catastrophic failure of civilization.
God willing.
God willing, yes. Inshallah. Intro to Zig. I lived in Albania, and so that was a common expression. It's kind of weird for an American to say that, but I lived in Albania. I legitimately lived in Albania. Inshallah. Yeah. And
Did
then
you say like the world's ending or something?
no, God willing.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so wait, was that okay? So this is where we're at. You know, Go is for idiots. Rust is, you know, if we're honest, Rust is kind of mid. You know, it's people that want to sweat about the borrow checker. And then Zig is for the Jedi Knights. So,
Is this factual?
yeah, this is factual.
Oh.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
factual.
It's based on real data.
All right.
It's based on real data.
Those are actual faces of people that you've seen.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Okay, so
I kind of love that.
So first of all, I have to say that I love Go. It has been my favorite language. Zig may replace Go as my favorite language. We will see. But Go has been criticized by Todd Punk here, our own Blvd, as guardrails the language. And I don't disagree. I think this is actually a great thing. So Go is kind of Java for people that don't hate themselves. And it's got a lot of pros. Like I said, I love it. You can learn it in a weekend. It's really unfortunate that it's not touted as the language that, like, for beginners, because it certainly is a more beginner friendly language than Python or JavaScript or just about anything else. It's batteries included. There's the standard library, the tooling, etc. Everything is blessed. Everything is there. There's the extended or experimental standard library, stuff that it's not been blessed into the standard library, but it's blessed that maybe one day it will be, or that it's, like it's really, really important, but maybe not important enough. So like with Go, you don't ever really need dependencies. You can pretty much build everything out of the standard library, and it's a pity more people don't do that. Go is safe. You're not going to get memory corruption. If you need programs that are secure, then Go is a great language. It's cohesive, which kind of goes to the batteries included. There is a group of benevolent dictators, as it were, that are the fathers of Unix and various programming languages, and including C, who are part of Go, and Go is kind of a correction of their mistakes. So there's a lot of maturity in the individuals that have taken part in it. It's learned a lot of lessons. It is a write once, run anywhere language. You can cross-compile from any platform to any other platform, and it is fast-ish, which I will talk about that.
About video processing, right?
Video processing, what about video processing?
Like GoPros? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, GoPros.
No, we're talking, no.
The ones you put on your head.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. And then Go is fast-ish. And when I say Go is fast-ish, it's the only people who don't think Go is fast are the people that are programming in Rust or in Zig. Other than that, it's pretty well recognized that Go is fast. You might have an aneurysm from Go fast, but
You're like, well,
It's okay.
actually.
It's okay.
all right. And then Go cons. The error handling. This is everybody's complaint. Everybody hates this about Go. It doesn't have enums. That should be on the list, but it's not yet. It doesn't have proper enums, which is really sad. And it just, people complain about there's a lot of boilerplate to it because it doesn't have a macro system. Its generic system is very conservative from the perspective of not making the language really messy or compile time slow. Also, CGO is not Go. This is actually a link to an article, but Go is its own language. It has its own compiler, and if you want it to be compatible with C libraries, you are actually not using Go at that point. And you're getting rid of a lot of the safety guarantees of Go. There's a lot that can go wrong. Your cross compilation, like basically once you step into CGO, Go it's not fun anymore. And then Go generate, and Go generate is kind of a pro, but it's also kind of a con. Go generate is the macro system that never really took off. It's intended to be used to do code generation along with make type tasks, but yet I see all the time people have make files in their Go code, and they don't use Go generate. Like there's one of the great use cases of Go generate, I think kind of one of the canonical use cases is Go stringer, which allows you to essentially define a set of types by name, and then you can run Go generate, and then it will turn those enums into string mappings so that when you call toString on it, it prints out its name rather than the number 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. So anyway, I don't want this to be all about the other languages, but I think that it's important to give some context of like what's good, what's bad. We agree or disagree? Are we on the same page here? And then, I kid you not, when I searched Rust as a Google image search, pardon my French, an image search, I was actually using Brave, but this is what came up. Like this was the screenshot that I got, and I thought that was hilarious. Because it is kind of cultish, like join us. But Rust has a lot of advantages. Oh, it's C++ for people who care about their sanity. And Rust has a lot of pros. I haven't been as exhaustive here as I should have been, but it's we can say perfectly safe in terms of memory safety, assuming that you don't go unsafe, without having a garbage collector. Because Go is also perfectly safe. Node is also perfectly safe for certain definitions of safe. Like there could still be, like Node has regex implementations that are vulnerable. Go does not. But anyway, it's as fast as C or faster. It is whether or not it's as fast as C or not is a matter of implementation detail and your maturity as a software engineer to be able to make good choices. And ostensibly, you can make identical performance characteristics between Rust and C. It has a great community. People in the Rust community are wicked smart, and it has really good tooling. In some ways, the tooling rivals that of Go. In some way, it surpasses that of Go. And so, this is why Rust, right?
Did you see the recent article on how you can break the borrow checker without using unsafe?
Break the borrow checker without using unsafe? No, I did not.
That on Rust.
Yeah.
People did not want to see that.
Yeah, it's not perfectly safe. It's still a work in progress.
Yeah. So I mean, but
Yeah.
the Rust community strives for absolute mathematical perfection. They've got the Haskell monads. They got the Haskell gonads without the monads. There we go. Actually, I think they've got monads too. But and then the Rust cons, not the conferences, but the things are negative about it. Everybody knows the learning curve is just outrageous. It's a steep learning curve. Use it for 6 months, a year or two, and you're like mediocre. Rust is like the violin. Either you're born for it, or you spend 30 years of your life and you're like, okay. And it's dependent on C. You don't get that nice cross-compilation. Like so many, Rust is not necessarily in of itself dependent on C, but in practice, it's dependent on all the C libs. And so you end up having to have the MSVC and this, that, and the other. It's kind of frustrating. The macro system is mathematically beautiful and practically atrocious, especially when it comes to documentation. And then just like drama in the community, just weird stuff that happens, which that's not really the language's fault, but it's just an unfortunate thing. And that gives us some sense of uncertainty as to what the future looks like. Are we gonna have to rename the meetups because we're in Utah? Like literally, that's with one of their proposals, we would have had to rename the meetup because we're in Utah. Anyway, so yeah, and then here's the example. Everybody knows this. Everybody's seen this before. It's beautiful in that it's telling you exactly where things are going wrong, but it's terrible in that you got to bang your head against it for a while. Okay, so and now on to Zig. We were promised jetpacks, and Zig delivers. We get the jetpacks.
Actual jetpacks?
Zero's got a jetpack.
Yeah.
All right. And
I've always wanted to be on a jetpack.
Zig is C for people who want software that works. So it kind of gives us the simplicity of C as opposed to the complexity of C++. But then it doesn't force us into the guardrails that we get with something like Java or Go. So what are pros of Zig? Like why in the consideration of all the good things about the other languages should we be considering Zig? And one, kind of what it in a way started with, like the adoption that's happening right now in the industry from what I've seen, the largest Zig adoption is for the cross-compiler. So things that are running in cloud services. People are using Zig to compile Go, they're using it to compile Rust, they're using it to compile C code without having to rely on automake and CMake and all that other stuff. So that, and this is not where the example's from, but Andrew Kelly, the Zig benevolent dictator, although he would probably hate to be called that, but that's what he is. So we speak truth here. Speak truth to power. Anyway, so this is his blog post that shows, kind of exemplifies how you can do the cross-compiling. And so that's really cool, that you get a tool chain that allows you to compile C and Go and CGo, well, CGo, not Go, but Rust and others, and Zig, of course, too. And another great thing about Zig is I honestly believe it's a language that you can learn in a week. So Go is hours to days, Zig is days to weeks, Rust is months to years. So I think it hits a nice middle ground there. And then these links right here. This is a project that I'm working on that I should have finished before I did this presentation so that I have it all fresh in my mind and be able to speak to its virtues more. But I'm just working on a .env manager, just parsing a file, putting some stuff in variable, like I think maybe it's a map or maybe it's a list, I actually don't remember. It's like very simple project. But almost the entirety of the time I've spent on the project is in this 6 hours of live stream. And if you were to watch this 6 hours of live stream, you'd be bored out of your mind for at least the first hour, I'm sure. But I think that like all the little nuggets, the things that you don't get from watching the couple of talks from Andrew Kelly, or like actually spending weeks with hands-on experience. There's so many nuggets in here because I had August from the Discord. Yeah. So he was on with me, and we just had this great back and forth, and he like took me from zero to hero in a matter of a few hours, and then I was able to be productive for the rest of the day. So although and the documentation's pretty good, so the language itself is very small and simple, and I think that's a great virtue of it, much like Go. And so I kind of think that Zig it's got a lot of the great pros from both Go and Rust. So it makes it easier to do right than wrong, and I think this is really important because this is one thing that Go got wrong with its, in particular, I mean the error handling case, right? So in Zig, there's what they wanted to do with Go is they wanted to not have hidden control flow. And so you're going to always treat an error as an object because we're not going to have hidden control flow. And they were right in that regard, but I think the syntax doesn't hit, as the kids say. And this syntax really does. So you're either going to try or you're going to catch. You don't try catch. You try, which means that it is going to raise up. And for people that are familiar with the JavaScript, this try is almost like await, or async, where you always have to put it anywhere that it needs to be put. So you cannot accidentally have something that can have an exception or an error. Anything that can have an exception or an error is going to have a try in front of it because it's a syntax error to not have a try in front of it unless it has a catch behind it. And so this follows a really great rule of that errors should bubble until they burst. You correct or classify, but you do not catch. You don't silently ignore an error or let it fall by the wayside, and you can just look at the line of code and know where it is. So I think that...
We have a question. Can I say?
Yeah.
So try is actually syntactic sugar for catch error, return error.
Catch error, return error?
Yeah. So it's just going to return it out.
Yep. Yeah. So thanks for that explanation of it.
Wait, I am confused. So try on that line.
So this is versus, right? So you're either going to do this or you're going to do that. You're either going to try, and if you try, it's...
no catch, then what?
Then it will return the error up. So there's an option type.
That's...
Try and catch are not
nifty.
like pairs. In
Yeah.
Zig. It's not a try catch pair. It's just it means something else. It's not what it means in JavaScript.
Yep.
A flawless language.
Yeah, a flawless language, JavaScript.
All right. So, and then down here, this is something that is also interesting. That the examples may be a little bit complicated to look at in a slide, but one of the things that you can do with Zig is you can zip without a zip function. So you can have any number of arrays in a for loop, and you can even create an index list, and you can iterate over all of them at once. And so this is actually useful in a variety of situations that otherwise you would be indexing. So for example, if you need to cleave together left and right channels of audio and a bass channel and a surround rear middle and rear right rear left, so if you there's a number of operations for which you need to take bytes from different sequences of bytes and then bring them together. And it's not super common, granted, but it is neat, and I think that this is good that there is behavior, or there are elements of the language that allow you to avoid doing indexing, because indexing is essentially how you get memory errors. A certain class of memory error, and Zig makes it really easy to never have to index into an element of a list. And if you never have to index into an element of a list, then you cannot get that class of error. Yes?
I will attempt to decipher the for statement here.
Yes.
So,
Elements, nations.
Elements is the
So inside of the for,
that's like the array you're going through.
Yeah, so there's this one right here, which is elements, water, earth, fire, air, and then
Right.
there's nations, and then that's tribes, kingdom, nation, etc.
Okay.
yeah, if you want, I can explain the syntax. So the open and close brackets with the underscore in it, the open and close brackets in this case refers to an array. And the underscore means that the length of it is going to be inferred by whatever the contents are. And then the brackets after that, const U8, that means you have a slice of U8s that cannot be modified by that reference. And so that's basically the string
They're
type.
immutable.
Yeah. And that's basically the string type in Zig. So you have a slice of const U8.
So why did you call them vars and not consts?
So you couldn't put a var in there. The const in that type just means that it's immutable. If you took that away, then it would be mutable.
But I'm saying the var.
Oh, the var on the variable?
Yeah.
It looks like that could have been const, but it just is not.
Sorry, I copy pasted this. I didn't come up with this on my own. I should have put the link to where I found it from, but I just did a quick search for it.
And then the for loop just like lists the things that you're going to iterate over, and then each one of the things inside the bars, those are captures, and it just refers
But it's
to.
going through both of them. Is it a double for loop? Like,
It's going through 3. So it's going through the
What?
element list or slice. It's going through the nations slice, and then it's going through.
Those are arrays.
Okay, so these are arrays.
Yeah. Those
what's the 0.0?
Yes.
The
Okay.
difference is that it's a value type. So arrays are value types in Zig, whereas a slice, that's a pointer and a length. And so
Right.
it's more like a reference type because you're passing around a pointer. So
Right.
it is a reference type.
And so this is just creating a range that's inferred from the other ones. So at compile time, if these were different lengths, then this would fail.
Yeah.
It won't. So you can't get an index out of bounds error. So this is what I was saying. So Zig takes the approach of just make the language so simple and have such good patterns that you don't reach for. You don't need to reach for something that's unsafe. So Rust is okay. We're going to make it so that the language forces everything to be safe. Go is we're going to put things in a container so that you never have direct memory access, and all memory access goes through a runtime.
Oh, really?
So there's like a 2 megabyte runtime that ships with Go, with every Go application. So if you do Hello World, you get 2 megabytes of runtime, and it has a lot of those the safety checks and stuff.
Can't you just like jump out of that though?
No, because that's part of what makes Go Go. I mean, if you see Go and then you go unsafe and stuff like that, then you can, but
Okay.
yeah. Oh, by the way, I think that we are accidentally streaming to the wrong channel. Dang it. I hate it when I do that. Yeah, we are. We're streaming to the JavaScript channel right now. Dang it. Because that's what I was last connected to.
The one true language people are going to be upset.
Dang it. It's okay. I'll download it. I'll download it and re-upload
It was
it.
a flawless language, and you laughed, and now that's on.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'll do.
actually-
I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna pause it.
I think JavaScript